For the first time in his young life, Lewis is about to go and actually meet some friends. Now, Lewis works extremely hard, right? He's always working on new inventions, always working in his lab, but he doesn't get out a lot, so he's kind of anxious around other people. That's one of the reasons why he works so hard, is because he's not comfortable around other people. But this is going to be really good for him. It's going to allow him to actually get some balance in his life. Now, as Lewis is getting ready to go, he starts to get some anxious thoughts. What if they don't like me? What if they think I'm weird for inventing? What if they reject me? And what if they don't accept me? Now, nothing bad has happened, but Lewis is anxious. And he gets so nervous, he starts to tense up, his breathing starts to breathe real fast, and Lewis can't handle this pressure. So what does Lewis do? He goes back to his lab and locks himself in there. His friends send him a text, "Hey Lewis, where are you?" But Lewis doesn't show, and Lewis misses out on a beautiful experience. Now, fast forward 5 years into the future. Lewis has gone through the trials and tribulations of the business world, and he is an extremely successul entrepreneur and inventor. He has over 100 people that work for him, and he's distributed inventions that change the world. Now, his company is having its wrap-up dinner, where they all get together and have a big feast, and Lewis does a big speech at the end. And throughout this whole time, Lewis feels extremely present. He feels extremely proud of the people that he gets to go to work with every day. He goes over and talks to every single one of his employees because he knows they have value. He knows that he is nothing alone, and he needs other people in his life to accomplish anything worthwhile. And growing up, I'd always get extremely nervous when I had to go meet new people or get into a situation or go somewhere where I hadn't been before, and it was extremely uncomfortable, and I'd get extremely anxious as well. I'd get extremely nervous, and I missed out on a lot of things that I could have done if I just would have gone, and I would have had a great time. But it's those moments before we start where we get so nervous. I remember my first gig I ever played on drums. I was playing at this restaurant. I remember before I went, I almost considered, I was genuinely feeling like I shouldn't go because I was so nervous. One, because I was nervous to play in front of other people, but two is because I was the youngest person in there. It was pretty late, and it's a bar and a restaurant, right? So I was like the only 16-year-old there, and I knew this going in, and I was extremely nervous to go, but I had to actually take a step back and think, like, what is the benefit of me going to this? I'm gonna actually get out and play live music in front of a lot of other people, and I'm gonna actually have a great time. And yes, I'm gonna be nervous, and I was extremely awkward that whole night because I was always overthinking, like, oh, they think I'm too young to be here, but it was a great experience, and it was a great first gig, and I've had dozens of other gigs just like that, and every single one got a little bit easier, and I never would have got the beautiful experience of playing music and sharing one of my gifts to other people. I'm sure you've looked for advice on how to deal with social anxiety from other places on YouTube, maybe other websites, and if you've gotten here, then I'm sure a lot of it hasn't helped, because a lot of it didn't help me. We were never given a class in school or never taught how to deal with social anxiety. Yes, they do like mental health days and stuff, but I found that advice never really helped. Like, they tell you to take a deep breath, which does help, but no one ever told me how to implement that properly. So the biggest thing that you actually need to do to actually start dealing with social anxiety is just get into the present moment. What we want to do is achieve a flow state. Now, athletes call this being in the zone. It's when we're not thinking about anything. And the moments that we are happiest and the moments that we are most successful in life is when we're just in the moment. We are just living. We're not really thinking, we're just in the moment, right? Sometimes we don't know how to get into this flow state, but a big thing you can do is just meditate. Practice meditation and just practice slowing down and focus on one thing at a time. That's the biggest thing with all kinds of meditation, just focusing on one thing with the present moment. Now, for me, and what a lot of other people do, is just focus on their breathing. When they just sit back and close their eyes, they take a breath, and all they're focusing on, it's not about the other bullshit thoughts that in your mind, it's not about all these other things that are going on, it's just the breath coming into your nose, down through your, I can't remember what it's called, and just coming into your lungs. And then when you exhale, it's just going on, and you're just focusing on the breath that's coming in, because from the moment you're born till the moment you die, you have your breath. There's so much going on in life, from friends and family and relationships and work and all this, and it's all, we're afraid to lose it, or we're afraid of something going wrong. But when we can just focus on one thing that we've had from the moment that we were born, from the moment that we're gonna die, if we can just focus on that, we notice, like, yeah, I've still got this, and I'm gonna be okay if I lose something. I'm gonna be okay if something goes wrong. But what are the chances of it actually going wrong? That's the big thing. Just focus on what you can control. The other part of this is get out and practice. Now, a lot of people with social anxiety, this is like the thing that scares them most, right? Is talking to random strangers. At my worst point, I would have rather gone and run for like 2 hours than I would have just gone up to a random stranger and said hello and asked them how's it going, right? It scared me, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that it scares out there too, but you just have to practice. Yes, you're gonna suck at it at first, but just practice interacting with people that you don't know. Just go for a walk maybe every single day, and if you see someone, just start by smiling at them and practice holding your eye contact too. Just focus that this person, and just realize that this person isn't gonna hurt you, right? Unless you live in like a really sketchy neighborhood or something. I don't know how to help you with that. We are just afraid of what other people are gonna think of us, right? So if we actually go out and practice and start talking to new people and experiencing new interactions, then it's just gonna get easier, right? One other thing that you have to realize is the best things in life are on the opposite side of fear. And we feel like we should hesitate for something. We're at a crossroads, right? We can either take this path, and yes, it might be risky, and yes, there might be obstacles down that way. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna be hard, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. But what's on the other side of that, right? Yeah, we might fail, and yeah, we might feel some experience a little bit of rejection, but if we keep going down that path, what is down there? Amazing relationships, an amazing career, and just things that we genuinely like to do. Now, there's the other path, right? There's the path of comfort, right? We can just do the same old things that we do every single day and just experience the life that we've had. But the problem is we're leaving what we could experience, and we're leaving progress, and we're leaving everything in life that we want. No matter what it is, if it's something that's actually worthwhile pursuing, you're gonna feel a little bit nervous before you go do it, and that means you care. Just nerves aren't a bad thing, right? They're just nerves. You just feel a little bit nervous to do something, right? Fear is just a feeling. An acronym for fear that has really helped me is just false expectations appearing real, right? Fear doesn't exist, it's just a thought in your mind. Once we can calm down and realize that those events have not happened yet, they're just things that our mind is making up, right? Once we realize that, then we can actually go do them. And the moments that, literally the hardest part is right when we're gonna start. The moments that we feel the most nervous, where we want to quit, that's literally the hardest part right there. Once you're into it, it's easy. That's how you can think of it. I've already come this way, I've already got ready to go do this thing or whatever, and I might as well go do it, right? This is the worst part right here. When I'm overthinking everything, once I actually go do it, I'm gonna become present. I'm gonna become focused because I'm uncomfortable and I need to be at my best. And doing something uncomfortable is one of the best ways to get into a flow state. It's more uncomfortable to talk to someone we've never talked to before, but it gets us in that present moment. And once we get past that flinch, and once we take those first steps and start walking over to them and say those first few words, yes, we might stutter, and yes, we might stumble or mess up a word or something, but once we're in that interaction, it's just a lot easier, right? Because we're in it. It's like you just have to jump in the lake, right? If you dip your toe in like, no, just jump, just go do it. That's what you need to do here. Just go do it. I know it's hard to do, and I know social anxiety is something that it's a constant battle. I get that flinch all the time. Right before I go play a gig, or right before I'm starting to film, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be hard, and yeah, I know it, but guess what? I want it to be hard. I know I'm gonna enjoy this. I've recorded 5 videos so far today, and this has been the best one yet because I'm in a flow state. I'm into it. It was hard to record those first few minutes of that first one, but now I'm into this, and I just might as well finish it, and I'm enjoying it. That's how you need to be with social anxiety, right? You're never gonna completely get rid of it. It's just the way it is, right? It's always gonna be hard, but you have to realize that everything you want is on that other side. Anything worthwhile in life is hard to get. If not, everyone would have it, and if not, it wouldn't be worthwhile, right? That's what makes things so extraordinary. It makes things so fun to do. That's what makes life fun, right? We want to be challenged. We want to be pushed. Life would be boring if we could just do everything right away, right? So adopting that mindset of, yeah, I want to be challenged, and yeah, this is hard right now, but I'm going to go do it anyway. That's what you need to have, and that is how to overcome your social anxiety.